Hello everybody and welcome to this year's Halloween special, which features another request, Jackie Morningstar's Rockin in the Graveyard. It was released in 1959 on two labels actually, the Orange and the Sandy label, both out of Mobile, Alabama. And it's a great example how you can play a long solo, 24 bars, with just a very few notes. By applying different phrasing, you can make sound interesting. I think it's pretty similar to Chuck Berry's style, where you just plays the same notes over and over and it still sounds great, something like this, yeah. And of course there's more to Chuck Berry's playing than just this one phrase, but if you like this style, you probably dig this lesson. Rockin in the Graveyard is in the key of A, and you play the whole solo between the 5th and 8th fret, so there's no need to move around your left hand. No finger acrobatics involved here, but the phrasing is pretty good, and that's what you can take away from this lesson, how you can play the same notes over and over without making them sound the same. And that might be very interesting for many of you. So let's start with the first two bars, which are exactly the same and sound like this. And by the way, you want to play something between a shuffle and a straight beat if you want to play it like the original, yeah? And I use just downstroke all the way through the whole solo. So one more time, the first two bars. Start with a slide from 4 to 5, play the top two strings, then the 5th fret 5 times. Then 7 and 8, B and E string. And I use the ring finger and pinky. I see a lot of people use middle finger and ring finger, so whatever works for you is fine. There's no right or wrong. Then after you played 7 and 8, back to the index. And then the last note is just the B string on the 5th fret. So let me play this phrase again slowly. Then you repeat it in the second bar. And then the third bar starts the same. But you play the 5th fret just 4 times. Then 7 and 8 again. Back to 5, both strings. And you put the ring finger on to the 7th fret, B string, play both strings. And then the last note is the 5th fret on the E string. One more time, bar 3. Then in the 4th bar you have a run that goes like this. Starts on 8 on the B string, to 5, 8 on G, back to the B string, 5th fret. 7 and 5 on the G string, and you want to hold out this note longer here, the 5th fret on the G string, before you play the last note, which is the 7th fret on the D string. One more time, this run. Yeah, notice how I didn't go. Just hold out the 5 here. Like this. So then we have the first 4 bars of our 20 bar blues solo. Let me play the first 4 bars slowly for you. then the next phrase goes like this. So you start on the D string on one end. Yeah, this is already something. Don't start on one all the time. If you construct your own solo, try different times in the bar. Yeah, one end is very good. It just makes it sound more interesting. And you can play double stops whenever you want to make it more fat, you know, to have a bigger sound. So you start on the D string to the index G and B string, ring finger again on the 7th fret G string, E and B string, ring finger again, then I play both strings G and B, and at the end D and G string on the 7th fret. Have the ring finger flat on both strings. One more time this phrase, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And as I said, you could make more double stops if you want to. Like this. And the next bar starts the same. But then in the end you go to 7 and 8 again, yeah? B and E string, what we had in the first bars. So let me play bars 5 and 6 here. And bar 7 also starts on one end and goes like this. Once again, 5th fret, E and B string, to 7 on the G string, back to E and B string index, 7 and 8, 5, G string, 7th fret, and then just the B string on the 5th fret. One more time, this bar slowly. Starts in one end, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then I just play the first part of the 8th bar, because the last 3 notes are just like pickup notes for the 9th bar. So it just sounds better if I just play the next 4 notes by itself. Very straightforward, just with a slide into the 5th fret, and then you play the 5th fret 4 times. So now I play bars 5 to 8 slowly, starting on one end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then I start with the pickup run. Last 3 notes in bar 8 go like this. 5 to 7 on the G string, then 5 on the B string. And then bar number 9 goes like this. One more time. So you play the 5th and 8th fret E and B string. And again, I use my pinky here. You can use your ring finger if you want to. Back to 5. 8 on the G string. 5 on the B string. 7, 5, 7 on the G string, and then the 5th fret on the B string. One more time this bar here. And then the next bar starts on one end again. Starts on the 7th fret B string, 5 and 8 E string, and you want to hold the 8th fret here a little longer. Then you play the 5th fret E string, 5 and 7 E and B string, and back to 5. One more time this phrase. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And every time you play the 8th fret here, you can always give it a little bend, so it sounds like this. Then the next bar goes like this. Starts with a familiar slide. This time you play the 5th fret just 3 times before you go to 7 and 8. Back to 5. 7 and 5. 5th fret. And you finish the bar with a 7 and 5 here on the B and E string. One more time. This whole bar. And then the last 4 notes of the first 12 bar solo. I run 5 on the E string, 8 and 7 B string, and then 5 of the E and B string. So let me play bars 9 till 12. And I start with a pickup. In bar 8, the last 3 notes goes like this. So this is what we got so far, the first 12 bars of the 24 bar solo. Sounds good. Okay, then let's keep going. So then the next bar still starts in the 12th bar with a pickup where you just play the G string 7th fret and then twice the 5th fret E and B string. And then in the next bar you play the same phrase twice, starting on 7 and 8, 2, 5, 7 on the G string, and back to 5 E and B string, and then you just repeat. So let me play the whole phrase here, starting with this pickup. And you hold out this note longer, so you start the next bar on one end again, and I play the next 2 bars together because melody-wise they're attached. It just sounds better. So here are bars, what is it, 14 and 15. Starting on one end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let's break this down. Starts on 7 and 8. 2, 5. 8 on the G string. 5th fret E and B string, 8, 7, 5 on the G string, and the 7th fret twice on the D string, double stop B and G string 5 to 7, 5 on the E and B string, just the 7th fret on the B string, just the B string by itself, 5th fret E and B string. And then the last note that you also hold out longer is 7 and 8 played on the E and B string. One more time this whole phrase, starting on one end, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... And every time I play the 8th fret, or 7 and 8, I always give it a little bend, you know, just... So it sounds a little bluesy or a little off. So then the next bar, just 6 notes, and it starts on one end once again, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 5th fret, then you play 8 and 5, 8 on the B string, back to 5. One more time. Hold this note longer, and then you play just the 5th fret with a slide on the second time you pick the E and B string here. So this is bar 16. Yeah. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So let me play the whole first part of the second 12 bars, so to speak, bars 13 to 16, starting with a pickup run here. And by now you probably realize it's much easier with the tabs that I have provided on my Patreon page, yeah, together with a jam track, and you can also get it in my shop as a lesson. But you can also fight through here on YouTube. Next part goes like this, starting on one end again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you play the 5th fret, E and B string, 7 B and G, 5 on the B and G string, 7 and 5 D string, then the A string the first time today, 7th fret and the 5th fret on the D string. One more time this part, 3 and 4 and 1. Next bar. Starts with a slide and to the 5th fret, and you play it 3 times. 7 and 5 B and G string, 7 5 7 on the D string. Then the next part. Starts in one end, 7th fret D string, 5 to 7, 5, and then the way you came, just reversed. And then the next part, this is bar 20. Starts just like the previous bar. So 5 D string, 5 to 7, 5, 7th fret B string, 5 on the E string, 5 and 8 played together. Let me repeat this line here, bars 17 till 20. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then a single string run, starting on bar 21, on one end again, and I just play the next 2 bars again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So 5th fret B string to 8 on the G string, back to 5, 7 G string, 5 and 7 B string, and 5 on the E string when you put it together. Next bar. A to 5, E string, then 8 on the B string, back to 5 on the E string, 7 and 5 B, 7 5 G. And then the next bar. Starts on the D string, 7th fret. Then you play 3 times the 5th fret E and B string, 7 and 8, back to 5, 7 and 5, and back to 5. And then the last bar, just 4 notes, twice the 5th fret E and B string, 7th fret B and G, and the 5th fret B and G string. So let me play the first, no, not the first, the last 4 bars of the whole solo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Wow, that was a whole lot, 24 bars in the key of A, everything between the 5th and the 8th fret. Let me repeat the whole thing here.